What's up, everyone? This is the Next Take Podcast, episode 172 with Mikel
and Tanyka.
we have conversation on different topics. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about a uh, few stuff today. We're doing our original 3-topic episode. So we're just gonna give you the topics as usual. Tanika, would you like to do that?
Yep. So, a court orders a demolition of a partially built plaza.
Mhm.
Canadians now have to pay an integrity fee to travel to the States. And a scientist discovers structural and brain wide changes during menstruation. So this is for my women out there for that one.
Um,
Um, but before I get into these topics,
mhm,
I do have to talk about this. This happened a week ago by the time
mhm,
this is coming out,
mhm.
but I don't think I told you I didn't want to talk about it during our Black History Month episode, but,
Yeah.
I didn't tell you
No.
about this. Um, so this morning so again, this was a week ago.
Mhm,
This morning, me and my mom were planning to go into the office, which, we attempted to do,
mhm,
and, we get to Scarborough Station. For those who don't know, it's 2 stops away from Union. We get to Scarborough Station, and the the CSA is kind of like, "Oh, we're holding here for a signal, shouldn't take too long," the usual. It's about 8:32. I'm meant to tie that in there. Time goes by, there's another train that comes beside us, and they're also stuck. Time goes by,
mhm.
and, nothing's happening. We're still being told, signal issue," like, we're
Well,
waiting for a signal.
I saw that on CB24.
Oh, yeah. But I'm
It
gonna
was
tell you
just
what they
playing.
said before we say what actually happened.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, "Okay, what are we gonna do?" Because at this point now they're starting to tell people, maybe you can take a bus to go over the TTC, but again, my mom's with me. My mom's not exactly healthy, 100% healthy. So that's not, like, nearby. It's not like if we got stuck at Eglinton, if we did go in, the buses are right there, it takes us to Kennedy Station.
Mhm,
We're at, like, Scarborough, and we have to kind of go to the bus, go up a bit, and get over to Victoria. It's not close.
mhm,
So I'm like, "Okay, what do we do? What do we do?" Because I'm not as familiar with Scarborough as I am with maybe Eglinton or Danforth or even Gilwood. I'm like, I'm not as familiar, so I'm like, I don't know what to do. But people start filing, because again, we're not moving. At this point, it's after 9. People are just filing out. There's also a medical emergency on my train, so we have that to deal with too. Just filing out, filing out. There's no way in hell we're gonna get on a bus to get anywhere. So we basically opt to go home. My mom starts ordering an Uber, and we ended up um canceling that Uber because an eastbound train came. So we hopped on that and got home. Got home around 11 o'clock.
mhm, mhm,
But the other thing was because I was getting like the emails or text messages. I get text, she gets emails. We also saw that there was a disabled train. Its
mhm.
exact words were, "There's a disabled train on the tracks just outside of Union, and because of that is the reason why we can't move forward."
Right.
This is what they're telling us,
Mm,
and this is what they've been saying all day, even up until, like, an hour ago. "Disabled train, disabled train." Y'all, it's not a disabled train. I mean, it's a disabled train, but whoa, because my mom calls me around
mhm,
2:30 or whatever,
right,
because I was in my room, she's in her room, and she's like, "Did you
mm,
see what's actually going on?" And I'm like, "What do you
mhm,
mean?" She's like, Come over here. It's on my screen." I'm like, "Okay." So I go to her. Derailed train. just outside Union, but, like, on the
Yeah,
west side.
yeah.
It's a freaking derailed train, and, like, there's a picture of it derailed, and I'm like, "That's not derailed. That's not the disabled, that's derailed. There's a difference." And, like, my thing is, it's like, "Go Transit, why are you lying?" Because basically what happened is the train derailed and hit the signal, which caused the entire thing to just shut down. So, like,
Mm,
how first of all, I'm like, "How did that happen? How does that happen?" Because anyone who rides the GO train knows that when they're exiting out of a station, especially Union, more so Union, when they're exiting out of Union, they move slower. There's
mhm,
no way in hell this thing should have derailed. Turns out that the track of which this train was on
mhm.
is broken, and that's probably why it derailed. So,
Right.
whoever is responsible for the tracks, whether it's Bombardier, Metrolinx, I don't freaking know, but whoever is in charge of the train tracks, you wanna fix it so that this doesn't happen, so that millions of people aren't getting their money back like
Interesting.
I will be later on after this recording.
Interesting.
What?
I wonder what happened because like, was somebody supposed to, like, warned? I'm guessing someone forgot to just warn
No, no,
some.
it's not
Oh,
about that, they just neglected it. This
oh,
isn't about warning. Let me tell you something, Go Transit just this drops the ball many, many times. So, this isn't surprising that this happened, but it's like, what is our money paying for? How does a broken track happen and it not be repaired? Because now look, now look. And there's people, because again, this train derailed at 8:15
oh,
this morning. As far as I can tell, it's still freaking in the same position it's been in since 8:15 this morning.
mhm.
I don't think it's come off the track yet. So, that's why we pretty much decided we're not going into the office tomorrow because it's still gonna be a mess.
Mhm.
But the the thing is, it's like, first of all, A, why lie? Just say the truth, say the train derailed. We're all gonna figure it out anyways. And secondly, it's like, why are you neglecting this thing that needs to be done because now you're losing money?
I don't think I think they were trying to look for the right name for is they said disabled, right?
They said disabled, but there's a difference between
Yeah. Yeah,
disabled and
derailed.
derailed.
Yeah, I know,
There's
but
a
I think for
huge difference.
I think somebody probably made a mistake. Were
No,
they were they
no,
were
they
they
didn't.
announce
Do
it?
you wanna
Were
know
they
how many times they said disabled? I can count it for you.
were they announcing it on the PA or were they just
They
basic?
literally just at 6:40 called it a disabled train. At this point, everyone knows it's derailed,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you how many times they did it. While I
Mm,
scroll up here on my phone, the first time that they said that it was a disabled train was, call it around 8:30 this morning, because that was the first one I said, "There's a disabled train near Union Station." Next one, "There's a disabled train near Union Station." Next one, "We continue to work on the disabled train near Union Station." Next one,
mm.
update number 5, "We continue to work on the disabled train." You see what I mean? They've
Yeah,
constantly called it disabled, not
I guess
derailed.
I guess maybe it was I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt.
No, I don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
Confusion
Mm-mm.
with the
There's
wording
no benefit of the doubt
and
towards Go Transit.
possibly
They know what they're doing. They're trying they're
possibly
trying to pretend as if this train didn't literally come off the track.
true, but you possibly don't know if this person was probably a newer employee,
No,
right? So, like,
I don't think it's the driver's fault. Because it's
not the
like, if you see it, it's like there's the engine and the entire train,
no,
like,
no,
the
no, no.
cars are off the track.
No, not the driver. I not only the driver. I mean the person that was on the PA, right?
It's not a
Maybe
PA, these are emails. This isn't writing. It's not PA
and
because the PA doesn't even say that. There's like the one that we heard at AJAC when we got back was just trains are
email.
not going
Yeah, so
westbound. were completely shutting down.
So you
That's
got
all they were saying.
so you got it on email, or did they announce it
Yes,
on
this is
Twitter?
email, or this
Oh,
is
okay.
text messages, I should say,
Mhm.
because I get texts. But they're the same thing with on the emails as well,
It's probably
because
just
I get the
miscommunication.
emails on my work
It's
email.
probably miscommunication.
It's
I
not
this
miscommunication, because if you go onto their website, it says the same thing, disabled.
is it.
Because I went on their
I'm
website
trying to help them out
initially.
here, cause like
Try it, you can go
you
ahead and do that,
said
but I think what you need to understand with GO Transit, because you don't ride GO Transit frequently, like,
mhm.
well, the majority of us that have to go to Toronto for work.
Yeah,
This is not abnormal for them to not say the truth. This is not abnormal. This is one instance of many where GO Transit does not tell
so
people the truth.
I
And the
I
reason why we say you need to tell your customers the truth, or you like, in their defense, when we got on a train, there was
mm,
no issues.
so
But if people who don't know that this train was fricking derailed,
yeah,
there are people who decided to go downtown anyway, not realizing, because initially, let me tell you this, initially, they were saying there were signal issues. They weren't saying that it was at that beginning point that it was a quote unquote disabled train or um derailed train. The derailed train caused the signal issues. Because when I first saw this disabled train, I'm thinking, oh, it's just another added insult to injury. I
mhm,
didn't realize that caused the issues. So they're not being truthful. They're not telling people, oh, by the way, there's actually a derailed train that caused the signal issues. Maybe, maybe y'all should just go home because this is going to be hours. Because they were initially saying up to 2 hours. It's been, what, 10?
uh,
Not 2? It's been 10.
yeah,
People got stuck downtown because they thought, oh, this will be fixed by the time I
yeah,
have to come home.
yeah.
And it's not. It's not been fixed.
Has this happened before? Is the has the a derail
Not
happened?
because of a derailment, no.
Hmm.
But we've
Oh,
had signal issues happen before. Because I remember my mom got stuck down. I don't know if she actually made it downtown, but there were signal issues and she got stuck down there. But they can fix GO Transit constantly has signal issues because their signals are old and
mhm,
it's a lot of money to repair them. But that's why I've said, listen, Bowmanville Station, great idea, but maybe y'all need to put that money into fixing your signals first. You know what I mean? Maybe do that first and then do Bowmanville Station, you know? But I digress. But
mm,
signal issues, as long as it's not a massive shutdown, because that has happened, it can get fixed in a timely fashion. So, like, if the signals are going down earlier in the morning, by the time you have to go home, it's fairly fixed to the point where trains can get by that area, even if it's slow. It can
mm.
happen. And there have been issues because of the storm that we had a couple weeks back. But this is not because of that. We were all thinking, oh, this is just residual from the storm. This is why this is happening. Meanwhile, it's not. It's because the train derailed and hit the signals. And
Mm.
that's a huge fix. That's a different type of fix. It could be days, honestly, before the signals are back up in a working order. And
And
even if they're working, it's still going to take a long time before it's back to some normalcy.
s okay. I
This
understand.
is different.
Yeah, I understand people are I understand people are upset about this, pissed about this, or, they're already people who are already upset
It's
about
more about, like, the AK
culture.
the lying and, obviously coming out of your bed for this, but, like, that's out of GO Transit's hands because it happened at 8:15. Most people already on trains heading to
Yeah,
work anyways at that time.
yeah, yeah,
So that's
yeah,
different.
yeah. I
It's
understand they
it's
I understand they were probably trying to get it fixed within 2 hours because they really wanted to, like, get you guys going. They know that you guys are what that came out of bed and, are trying to, go to work and
but
everything.
again,
They were
a
probably trying to get to that
derailment
point.
A derailment is not gonna happen in 2 hours.
I know,
I
but
don't
it'll
think GO Transit has ever dealt with a derailment before, at least since
that's
I've
probably
been going.
that's
A
probably
derailment isn't gonna clear itself in 2 hours,
yeah, that's probably why they're
which
probably
is fine, whatever, but
mhm,
it's more about the fact of, like, this happened at 8:15. It wasn't until 2 o'clock or whatever it was when it was finally coming to light that this is what happened, and it's like and it was still sitting on the track at that time, and I just know how GO Transit operates. If by 2 o'clock or 2:30 that train is still in the same spot and the signals are still not working, it ain't gonna be working by the time people have to start going home. Like, it's just not,
well,
and it wasn't. And again, even now, like, I was watching my phone to see if this gets resolved throughout the day. It has not been resolved yet because it would have sent a thing saying the issue from earlier has been resolved or whatever, especially when it's massive like this, they will do that. That did not happen. So that's how I know this is not gonna be fixed for tomorrow morning. Because, like my mom said, these people aren't gonna be out there at night in the cold at that because it's freezing cold right now. Fixing these signals, it's not gonna be fixed. They're gonna go back out there at 5 o'clock in the morning and hope that they fix it by the time rush hour starts, but it's not gonna happen. It's just not. And it's not about having no faith in GO Transit, it's just facts. Because again, these are human people fixing this thing.
um,
It's not gonna happen. So, it's for me, the issue is more so of why does GO Transit feel like they have to pull the wool over people's eyes? Just tell the truth. Say the truth. Say a train derailed. Yikes. That sucks. And this is gonna take a while to fix and clean up. Just say that. 'Cause it's not necessarily out of your control, but this is a freak accident. So, like, just say the truth. Luckily, no one was hurt
yeah,
because it
yeah,
could have been way
that's
worse, but luckily no one was hurt. So, like, just be honest.
well, that's the good news about it. Nobody was like, hurt. Yeah, we understand, situations do happen.
Yeah.
Um,
But again, like, I do also want to hold coach, like I said, like, this is a freak accident. I still want to hold Go Transit accountable because I do want to say, I guess, or if it's not Go Transit, whoever is responsible for the tracks, so that Go
mhm.
Transit is not responsible for the tracks.
I think there was a communication issue.
It's not about communication. What do you mean by communication
'Cause,
in
like,
a
if
case
the
like
if the
this?
if the if the tracks were broken, who's communicating with the
But
person
what if
who's
they thought the track was safe enough, though, to still go over, like, still
that's
use that
not
track?
no, that's a
But
no,
that's
you
what I'm
can
trying to say to you.
yeah,
You have to understand that
that's why I said to
they
you
are well aware that things are going on. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that GO Transit was not aware Metrolinx was not aware that that track was broken. They were aware the track was broken, but either they make the decision to still use the track despite it, or
it's
let's say Bombardier, I think they're the ones that still are in control of the tracks.
the I
If they could have been like, "Oh, but it's safe. It's fine until we can fix it."
yeah,
Whoever made that decision
yeah,
is
that's
at
what
fault.
communication. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, communication.
But
That's what
it's
they should
not
have
but when you say
switched track.
miscommunication, you're making it seem like, "Oh, you know, we dropped the ball," or, "We didn't tell you that this was a broken track and then you use." No, they know. Everyone is aware that this track was broken, but they still used it
Communication.
when maybe it shouldn't have been used. But,
True.
like,
Yeah, it should yeah, that's what they should have done. They should have switched tracks. They should I
yeah.
don't know, they can do that. They should have switch
Go
that.
I don't know who makes the decisions of which track GO Transit uses, if it's GO
But they
Transit
done it.
makes those decisions or I should say Metrolinx makes those
Yeah,
decisions or Bombardier makes those decisions or if
yeah.
it's both, but maybe they felt like they couldn't lose a track.
'Cause they done it
I
before.
don't know.
I think they've done it before. They switched tracks on
Yeah, they switch tracks, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't use the track, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, I don't know what tracks aren't being used, especially because this was a Kitchener line. I'm not aware
Mm,
of what Kitchener line does because I'm on my own line, so I don't know what they're doing. But,
mm,
um, I do see Kitchener line sometimes near my line on
mhm,
the way home, so I don't know if they use 9 times out of 10, they use the same track at the same time of day. So, like, for example, for my line, they always use track I think it's 10 and 11. I think
mhm,
that's the track. It's 10 and 11. That's the same track they use every night going home. Just like on coming in, going into Union, it's 5 and
mhm,
6 or 7 or 6 and 7, whichever it is. It's always the same track that gets
mhm,
used for that particular train. If it's not that, then it's track 4, whichever. But those are the 2 lines that they use depending on what train you're on. So it's the same one. So that's my question. If Kitchener is constantly still using the same track at that time of day, despite this track being broken,
mhm.
it's like, what are you doing? Either don't use the track until you fix it,
Yeah,
or or just that, just don't use the track until you fix it. Like fix the track, then you can use the track. You know what I mean? It's careless because like, this should have never happened. This could
I think that's what happened.
they should have just they could have all been avoided.
Well, somebody might be either getting
Fired?
possibly,
Maybe.
possibly, or
Someone dropped the ball. Because
suspended.
again, like, Go Transit, they're losing a lot of money today. They lost a lot of money
Yeah,
today.
yeah, I know the boss is probably like, "Arr, arr, arr,"
Yeah.
like, it's just, "Who did this? Who did that?"
And then there's people who don't even work remote anymore and have to be in the office, so there's that too. You
Yeah.
know, luckily, that's not for me. I'm still hybrid, but, like, yeah, so
Mhm.
dumb.
Mhm, mhm. Anyways,
Anyway,
oh, that's good that
yeah,
everybody's
even just now as we're recording, we
mhm.
continue to work on the disabled train. That was at 7:42. Disabled train near Union Station. Come on. Just call it derailed at this point, we know what it is. Anyway, let's
Mhm.
get to the reason we're here,
Yeah,
the actual episode. So,
yeah.
the Ontario court has ruled that a developer must demolish their partially erected structures on Kingston Road in Ajax. So, this was on September 18th. Justice Annette Casulo,
Mhm.
I must say, she used to work at my company.
Nice.
She used to be a lawyer at my company, then she left us to be a judge. Anyways, it's fine.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, so of the Ontario Superior Court of Justice granted the town of Ajax's application for a demolition order regarding above ground structures constructed without a building permit at 599 Kingston Road West in Ajax. I don't know where that is.
mhm,
Um, hmm. There is some stuff that is being built that kinda got stopped on Kingston. Maybe that could be it then. Okay.
mhm,
Um, First Avenue's conduct must not be rewarded, Costello said in her ruling. An order to demolition is the only just and appropriate remedy in the circumstances.
mhm,
The town said in a statement it views this ruling as an important affirmation of accountability and the need to uphold the integrity of planning and building regulations. The town said in a statement, I read that already. The town will continue to monitor the matter, including a possible appeal, in consultation with its legal counsel, and remains committed to ensuring that all development within its boundaries adheres to applicable laws and standards. In a statement, First Avenue Properties said, quote, it is disappointed by the court's decision, particularly given the court's recognition of the substantial resources that First Avenue has already expended on significant environmental work. Then get a permit. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Wouldn't be here right now. Anyways, let me
mhm,
continue. First Avenue remains committed to developing much needed attainable housing for Ajax at the property and looks forward to working with the town to realize on that commitment. The ruling noted First Avenue acknowledged that the above grade construction on the property was carried out without a permit, but resisted an order for demolition, stating that the better course of action is to dismiss the application and allow them to continue working toward obtaining the required building permit. According to court documents, the property was previously used as an automotive sales and repair facility, resulting in soil contamination before it was purchased by 1940475 Ontario Inc. in 2015. Over the next 5 years, First Avenue prepared and submitted to the town multiple site plan applications for the property. These included detailed design drawings and governmental reports before the existing structures were removed. In April 2021, the town conditionally approved First Avenue's site plan application, which contained a number of conditions the developer was required to clear before the town issued a final approval. The town issued I said that already. God, I keep doing that. Um, no, wait, did I say that already? Yeah, okay. The town issued an order to comply, requiring First Avenue to stop working on the above ground elements. On October 27th, 2021, the work continued and the town issued a stop work order. Despite this, construction continued until at least November 2021 when the Ontario court issued an injunction. First Avenue did not obey, but instead had its engineer assess the above grade work, and he found the walls would present a safety hazard if they were left unattended for too long. First Avenue chose to follow their engineer's recommendation to fix the problem, let the town know, and went ahead with the work without the town's approval, the court said. More of the back and forth included the town requesting First Avenue to file a record of site condition with the Ministry of the Environment Conservation and Parks, MECP, but the developer ended up submitting a risk assessment. The ministry had also shared concerns regarding the plans on numerous occasions. In the end, the judge said First Avenue is not an unsophisticated builder that acted impulsively, acknowledging the first developer spent a substantial amount of money to undertake significant environmental work to respond to the MECP investigations and orders. But the fact remains that these were steps that ought to have been completed before construction began in earnest. And that is that.
Okay. So,
Um, oh, you have something?
I have something. So, everybody knows who Bob Iger is, right?
Bob Iger, Bob Iger. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Disney's, I believe,
Oh, yes, yes,
CEO.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, he says Disney Plus will have AI generated content on the platform by the end of September 26th. Um, OpenAI will be available to AI generated 30-second video based on characters from Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars. So I wonder how they're going to incorporate these 30-second videos. Are they going to be like shorts like YouTube and TikTok, or they're going to have these characters like, collaborate with each other, etc.? Are they going to be cartoons or are they going to be live action characters? Now, if they're going to be live action characters, I wonder how the actors are going to feel about this, right?
Right.
Now, if it's cartoon, that it's cartoon, but the live action is like a slippery slope. So, um, yeah. So I don't know if they have something in their contracts that they can use the characters, but and they get residuals from it, but from the live action versions, but we can understand the cartoon version of these characters. But yeah, do you hate it or do you like it, Tanika?
I mean, I'm never for AI, so
Mm,
that is what it is.
mm.
AI is taking over, so it's fine.
Okay, all right, that's it for me.
Okay. All right, let me go to the next one. All right. So, if you're planning a trip to the United States from here all to Canada,
Mhm.
travel got a little bit more expensive. So a new US visa rule came into effect, and it could cost some Canadians an extra $350 before even leaving the country. The change comes from the US government's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. What the okay, passed in July, which introduces a new visa integrity fee for certain travelers. So this was as of October 1st, the start of the new fiscal year. The fee was officially in effect and could apply to anyone applying for a US travel visa, including some Canadian citizens and permanent residents. The integrity fee is a charge of $250 US, or about $350 Canadian, that applies to anyone issued a non-immigrant visa to the US. It's added on top of existing visa application fees, which already start at 185 US dollars or 260 Canadian for most travelers. That means a family of four applying for tourist visas can now be paying around 2,400 Canadian dollars in total visa costs
Mhm.
just across the border, and that's before booking flights or accommodation. The
Mhm.
fee is not optional and cannot be waived under any circumstances. It's also subject to increase each year based on inflation starting in 2026.
Mm.
The purported idea is to deter people from overstaying their visas or breaking the rules of their stay. Theoretically, travelers who follow all the rules and leave on time could qualify for a reimbursement, but that's far from guaranteed.
Mm.
So, who has to pay this? So, not all Canadian travelers will be affected. Most Canadian citizens visiting for tourism, shopping, or short term business don't need a visa at all. So, this new US travel rule won't change anything for those people. However, Canadian citizens do need a non immigrant visa for certain travel reasons, such as joining a US fiance, so K1 or K2 visa, which is K1's that is the fiance visa, and the K2 is spousal.
Mm.
TLC is still the learning channel, everybody. Completing a family immigration process of K3 and K4, and working as treaty traders or investors.
Mhm.
Um, So that's E1, E2. There's more, sorry. Serving as diplomatic or international officials, AG and NATO, and assisting in law enforcement operations, S5, S6, and S7. Canadian permanent residents, however, are among the most impacted. Unlike citizens, most permanent residents must always obtain a non immigrant visa to enter the US, even for short visits, and that now
Mhm.
comes with the integrity fee attached. So me and my boyfriend will never travel to the States apparently, because he's not a citizen. Okay, technically technically,
Yeah, no, I'm not traveling to the USA until that
oh,
guy.
no, I'm not traveling into the States at
If
all.
if my brother asks me, I'm like, "Do you wanna go to you?"
Hell no. What were you saying?
So, yeah, no, I'm not going back to the United States, so,
Nah.
uh,
No,
yeah,
me
because,
neither.
uh, like I said, even if my brother, says something, it's alright, if you want to go
You
to the
can
States,
come here.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you want to yeah, no.
Mm.
Well, until that president comes out of office
Yeah,
and
no,
a new
I'm not
one comes
touching
up,
it.
I'm waiting I'm still waiting one more year after that new
Yeah,
president
yeah, exactly.
is fully in office because like,
Right. Can't trust nothing right now.
things have to change a little bit because
Maybe even more than a year.
yeah, well, it still has Trump's stench, even if
Heck,
that new president is, you know, there for a year, so he's gonna make some, like he has to make some changes in every single day. So, I'm pretty scared about, like, the racism and the whole
yeah,
situation with, like, um, ICE as well and,
yeah,
what else?
all
There's a
of it.
lot. Yeah, there's a lot that's going on with the
It's
US.
not a place that I would wanna be right now.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, wow.
So, again, the fee, is it refundable? So technically, yes, but it's complicated. According to the US law, the integrity fee may be reimbursed, but only if the traveler follows all visa rules exactly and leaves the US within 5 days of their visa expiring or secures an extension or green card before then. The catch, There's no official refund process in place right now, and since many non-immigrant visas are valid for up to 10 years, it could take a decade to even qualify for that reimbursement. An estimate from the nonpartisan U.S. Congressional Budget Office, published in May, predicts that only a small fraction of visa holders will actually
Mm,
ever see reimbursement.
mm,
In its cost analysis, the CBO notes that a large number of non immigrants would not be eligible to seek a reimbursement until several years after paying the fee, and that the Department of State would need several years to implement a process for providing reimbursements.
mm,
Because of the long fidelity of many visas and the time it will take to build a refund system, the office projects the integrity fee will generate about $28.9 billion dollars over the next decade in revenue from fees paid that are never reimbursed for travelers.
mm,
So, what you need to know: if you're a Canadian citizen planning a regular vacation, you're probably in the clear. If you're a permanent resident of Canada or heading to the US for work, school, or family reasons, you might need a visa, and that now means paying the integrity fee. The fee is per person, so families and groups will be paying multiple times. There's no clear refund process, and even if one is established, it could take years to get your money back.
mm.
Anyone traveling to the US from Canada in the coming months should check the latest US travel advice from Canadian officials and be sure they understand what visa they need and how much it's going to cost them.
Mm.
So that's that. Okay, so it's just me for the final um topic for this episode. So let's do the final one. So the constant ebb and flow of hormones that guide the menstrual cycle don't just affect reproductive organs, they also reshape the brain. And a 2023 study gives us insight into how this happens. So, led by neuroscientist Elizabeth Reeser and Victoria Bepenico of the University of California, Santa Barbara, a team of researchers tracked 30 women across their menstrual cycles, documenting structural changes in their brains as their hormonal profiles fluctuated. Published in a peer reviewed study, the findings suggest that structural brain changes during menstruation may not be limited to those regions associated with the cycle. Quote, these results are the first to report simultaneous brain wide changes in human white matter microstructure and cortical thickness coinciding with menstrual cycle driven hormone rhythms, the researchers wrote. Strong brain hormone interaction effects may not be limited to classically known hypothalamic pituitary gondola axis, HPG axis going forward, receptor dense regions. Menstruation typically means experiencing some 450 or so periods during the course of a lifetime. Lord. So understanding their effects on the body is important. Yet, despite affecting roughly half the world's population for half their lives, research has been somewhat lacking. Who knows why? I'll tell you why, because women. Women's health, we've talked about it on this podcast before, is sometimes, I guess, not seen as important. You know what I mean? Anyway, most of the research on the hormonal effect on the brain has been focused on neural communication during cognitive tasks, not on structural changes themselves. Quote, I think it's cyclic fluctuations, only cycle fluctuations in HPG axis hormones exert powerful behavioral structure and functional effects through actions on the mammalian central nervous system. Reeser, Babinko, and their team noted. Yet very little is known about how these fluctuations after the structural nodes and information highways of the human brain. The microstructure of white matter, the fatty network of neuronal fibers that transfer information between regions of gray matter, has been found to change with hormonal shifts, including puberty, oral contraception use, gender affirming hormone therapy, and postmenopausal estrogen therapy. To address the menstruation gap in our understanding, the team took MRI scans of their subjects during 3 menstrual phases: menses, ovulation, and mid-luteal. So basically, that would be like your follicle stage. So before ovulation, then ovulation, and then luteal stage, or luteal stage, sorry, which is post ovulation. At the time of each of these scans, the researchers also measured the participants' hormone levels. The results showed that as hormones fluctuate, gray and white matter volumes change too, as does the volume of cerebral spinal fluid. In particular, just before ovulation, when the hormones 17B estradiol, estrogen, and luteinizing hormone, LH, rise, which is the hormone before, like, that will trigger ovulation. Sorry, I know a lot about this right now. The brains of the participants showed white matter changes, suggesting faster information transfer. Follicle stimulating hormone, which would stimulate your follicle for pregnancy, which rises before ovulation and helps stimulate the ovary follicles, was associated with thicker gray matter. Progesterone, which rises after ovulation, was associated with increased tissue and decreased cerebral spinal fluid volume. What this means for the person driving the brain is unknown, but the research lays the groundwork for future studies and perhaps understanding the causes of unusual but severe period-related mental health problems. A separate study published in 2024 by an international team of scientists found each phase of the menstrual cycle had a distinct influence over the brain as a whole, with changes across the brain and in particular regions found to also be related to an individual's age. Although we do not currently report functional consequences or correlates of structural brain changes, our findings may have implications for hormone-driven alterations in behavior and cognition. Investigation of brain hormone relationships across networks is necessary to understand human nervous system functioning on a daily basis during hormone transition periods and across the human lifespan. And yeah, that's basically it. That is the episode. I'm gonna end it off here with basically saying that our next episode for Black History Month will be coming out on Thursday, which has already been recorded, so it's a good one. And we also have, I believe, our bonus episode is actually coming out on Wednesday, so that will be there for you. But we'll be back with another episode on Wednesday. With that being said, bye, everybody. If you liked what you heard with our podcast, you can head on over to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. There you can get any of the links to any of our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram at Next Take Podcast, and Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Next Take Pod. You can also find links to our Reddit page and many other things, I'm sure. Can't remember all off the top of my head. You can also email us at mikeltanyka@gmail.com. There you can send us any inquiries you have, any questions, or also any episode ideas. And if you do have episode ideas, just make sure you put in the subject line episode ideas, and we'll add it to our list. If you also liked us, you can like us, rate us, follow us on any of your favorite podcast apps. You can rate us However, on Spotify and Apple Podcast, we would greatly appreciate that. And we'll also move forward and share or spot a light on those who give us 5-star ratings in the future. That is it for us. We'll see you next time for the episode.